Okay, so now let's do something which is really quite valuable, which is make a retrieval augmented generation system. And we're going to make two of them, one with no large language model and one with a large language model. And this is going to make a simplified version of how Copilot works. So here's the first RAG. It's just going to be a Python script. And I'll explain how this works after I get it input. Let me do nano rag1.py, paste in this text, and then I missed a carriage turn at the end, or a parentheses at the end. All right, now if I run, now what this script does is it just has a corpus of information. This is all it knows. It has a list of like 10 possible fun activities you could do. And then it defines Jacquard similarity, which simply counts words that match words in the question. And then all it's going to do is ask you what is a leisure activity that you like, and it's going to print one of these lines that matches your question. That's all it does. It's a very simple script. So let's run that. Python 3, bag. All right. So I say, I like to hike. And it tells me, go for a hike because the word like hike matched the word here. So this line matched my question and it answers me. So that's fine. But notice how stupid it is if I say I don't like to hike. It will tell me to go for a hike because it does not understand my sentence at all. It doesn't understand the context. It just matches the word. So the word hike matches the word hike, and you get the answer. This is retrieval if you like, retrieval generation, but it doesn't have any LLM. So we can improve it by adding an LLM to it. So here's RAG 2. This one is going to have two stages. And I'll put it in here and then explain it. Okay, so nano rag2.py. Okay. Now what it's going to do is it's got the same corpus of data about activities, but what it's going to do is it's going to find the response that matches some of the words you typed in, and instead of just repeating that to you, it's going to include it in a question, and it'll show you what question it sends the API. And if I run it, it'll be easier to see. So Python 3 rag 2. Okay, now I say I like to hike, and here's what it does. Whoa, everything. Oh, failed to establish. Oh, I turned off Ollama. That's right. I need to have Ollama listening. So, and that's in the instructions. If your Ollama is not listening, I skipped over it thinking it was, then you have to do Ollama serve. And I ended mine. Serve. Okay. That will launch it. Okay. Now it's going to be listening. So now I should be able to run the other one. Let's just run this again, clear. And run Python 3 rag 2 and say, I like to hike. Okay, now here's what it sends to Ollama. All right. I'm seeing that what's catching up here is not having the right window in the front, which is strangely a defect in Zoom. There it is. Okay, there it is in the front. So it sent this. You're a bot that makes recommendations. You answer in short sentences. This is the recommended activity. This part here is the data that it got from the retrieval augmented generation. And here's the user input. And now it includes all that and gives me an answer. So it gives me an answer with better English, defined from the large language model. But in addition, it includes this recommendation: go for a hike and admire the scenery. So now, if I say I don't like to hike, then it tells you the recommended activity is still go for a hike because the retrieval part is very stupid, but the LLM understands this I don't like to hike and tells me something else. So that's what retrieval augmented generation is. It mixes data from a database with data from the large language model to give you an answer. So you have part of it that is simpler and part of it that is actually using the large language model to add a more sophisticated structure of English. And there's a RAG number 3. I wrote one here you can try where you can actually download a bunch of real information from the government about the risks of AI. And you can include that data in your RAG. And then you can ask it a serious question about how to write a security policy about AI, and it will give you an interesting answer. So if I say, what am I interested in? World domination. It will, here's the prompt, and it will give you an intelligent answer about how much risk there is that AIs will have world domination. So that's what I wanted to show you. It's important to understand how to run these things locally. All right, now I'm going to stop recording.